Hi guys, Claudia Boleyn here, and yes, I'm excited and happy because today I did my first group therapy session kind of thing. You know, I'm doing a programme for people with borderline personality disorder, which I learned today they're going to have renamed, or they're trying to, because I know that in America it's borderline personality disorder, and over here some people call it borderline personality disorder, some people call it emotionally unstable personality disorder, but I think they're trying to get it changed, if they're right today, to I think it's emotional intensity disorder, which sounds far better actually, now that I think about it. And I'd be very happy with that change because that is exactly what it is. It's very self-explanatory. I've always thought that having BPD, I'm going to refer to it as BPD before I get used to the other stuff, because that's just how I kind of learned about it. I'm sure that will change as the process goes along and I get more used to like the terminology. But yeah, I prefer the name emotionally intense because that's kind of what it is. When you tell somebody that you have borderline personality disorder, people don't know what it means, and I think automatically as well, there's such like a negative connotation to it. Even people who don't know what it is somehow will have heard it used in a negative way at some point, so they kind of recoil a little bit instinctively, which is frustrating. And emotionally unstable personality disorder, I quite like that name because yeah, that is what it is, but I think emotional intensity describes it better than emotionally unstable, especially because it feels a bit weird introducing yourself as someone and being like, hi, I'm emotionally unstable, which is kind of true, but it's not, that's not so accurate, I don't think. Anyway, yeah, I did my first one and I'm just really happy because when I did this, I think I said in my last video I tried to do this same programme 1 year ago, but I found out apparently it was 2 years ago. Like I lose huge chunks of time when I am like really low or I have episodes, so yeah, it's really bizarre to me. But yeah, apparently it was 2 years ago. So yeah, when I did it then it was too much and I went in for like 10 minutes and I totally had such a bad panic attack. I was in the toilets being sick and freaking out, and then I had to ring someone to come and get me and it didn't go well. But yeah, this time I managed it. My grandma and granddad took me there, and then they also stayed with me for the whole 2 hours. So they were staying in the waiting room while I was doing the programme. And it was just so kind of them for them to do that, and it really helped because I felt really safe. So I felt like I didn't have to panic because I had them there with me. And then next week, yeah, we'll see how it goes, but I'm just so happy that I've done it, really. So we signed a confidentiality agreement at the start, just to say that it's one of the rules, obviously, that we're not going to discuss the different things that people say in the group in a way that can be identifiable to anyone anywhere other than in the group, which is completely understandable, and I don't know why anyone would want to break that anyway, to be honest. I think that's a good rule. But I did clarify that, and I said that I do like vlogs and vlogs. And yeah, we are allowed to like talk about our own process, which is what I'm going to be doing in these videos, and I might be making a few more than 20 because it's a 20-week programme, so I'll be doing a vlog every time that I complete one. But we have kind of homework to do between the sessions where we kind of practice stuff we've learned and maybe do a bit of research. So I'm sure there's lots of videos that will come between those times when I just feel like documenting it. But yeah, apparently it's had such a good impact on so many people who've done it before. So I mean, it's going to be really tough, especially with because people with BPD often don't just have BPD, because someone I met in there has bipolar as well. There's people with other illnesses or disabilities. So for me as well, I have anxiety and depression and panic disorder as well. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. So it is going to be difficult, but I am committed to doing it, and I feel like it's the right time. Like before, I wasn't in the right place, I was just such a mess, but now I feel like I am ready to take charge of my life. So hopefully it will help. And it seems like a really positive programme. I'm liking the fact that it's not like, I was worried it would be like a school thing, because it's a lot of them sort of telling you stuff, and you have print out worksheets and stuff you go through, and like a blackboard, or not a blackboard, like you know, like, I can't even think of the name. You know, one of those paper boards where you just like flip the paper over and it's really like thin paper and you use like felt tips on it? One of those. But it doesn't feel like you're being spoken to like you're a child, because when I was at school, I've always been really bad with authority figures anyway, which I know why. But yeah, But yeah, I've been bad with authority figures and being spoken down to by people, so I never really enjoyed that. Sixth form was much better, so this felt more like a kind of sixth form but better, because it was an adult talking to other adults on an even level about ways that they could help us and that they can help us to help ourselves, which is good, and that's what you want. It felt quite empowering, and it made me feel like I had a lot of agency. We spoke about the idea of viewing BPD as an illness that we have, rather than us as a whole, which is something I came to terms to quite a while ago, because I read up on a lot of this stuff because I'm very interested in it. But yeah, it's nice to think of it as these are issues that we have, but that's not us, and it's something that can be controlled and something that we can help with. I'm not naive, I know that I'm not just gonna lose this. It's a personality disorder, and for a lot of people that's there for your whole life, but I do know that I have power in terms of how I deal with it, and then once I've learned these like coping mechanisms and different ways of thinking, I know it will change my life for the better, and I'm willing to kind of put in that hard work to do that, because I've realised in the last few years, I mean, I've always been a high achiever at school, for example, but I wouldn't have called myself a hard worker, because I was someone who worked hard on things I enjoyed, but stuff I didn't enjoy very much I didn't work very hard on. So at school you'd have lessons where I was like top of the class, and then you'd have lessons where I just couldn't be bothered, like ICT and maths. And the funniest thing is that I was so bad at ICT and almost refused to do it, and now so much of my life is online based and I'm so good at it, so that's really weird. But yeah, I've learned that I am actually a hard worker, and that's a skill you can get, because it's not something that we all automatically have. I think especially if you're someone who achieved quite highly when you were younger without really having to try, you don't really learn those skills of having to make yourself like push through, you know, when it comes to work. So that's something that I've learned, especially with my Open Uni course, because that I also suffer from feeling like I'm a fraud. Like when I get a good grade for something, I always think, oh, maybe it's just like a one-off, like I don't think, oh, well done me, but because I'm doing this Open Uni course from home and it's all me, and it's all me, it's all from home, I don't even have other students that I talk to apart from online, it's really made me realise that, yeah, I am a hard worker, and I can be motivated, and I can organise my life, and I can sort this stuff out. So, and that's something I really do struggle with, like, in so many parts of my life, but I'm starting to get there. I'm starting to realise that I can put my mind to something and I can work hard, and it might take me a long time to get something, but if I stick with it, I learn. And it makes me think of that Sansa Stark quote where she says she's a slow learner, but she learns, and that's kind of how I think about it. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because I'm still gonna get where I want to in life. It might take longer, it might be a different path to other people, and there are obstacles in the way, but I can get around them. Anyway, sorry for that digression. So we want to talk about the programme I did today. So basically I got a load of handouts. So today mostly was more explanations. So the person in charge of the group was, you know, telling us what to expect. We kind of introduced ourselves. It was a huge relief to meet the people in the group. I don't know them properly yet or anything like that, but they all seem like really normal people, which is nice. That probably sounds really odd to say, but I feel like you always worry that, oh god, like I'm gonna be like some like weird one out or something, or oh no, what if I have nothing in common with these people? But they just seem like nice normal people, and it's so reassuring that to know that you're in a room of people who completely get the same stuff that you do, like the same feelings, and they have the same struggles, but they come across so normal. And it gives you hope that maybe you too come across as quite normal and quite nice. So that's what I hope. That's already helped me a bit with the whole feeling like I'm like a bad person or something, and that people know as soon as they see me, like, oh no, there's something wrong with her, she's crazy. But no, I don't think that's the case. If the others are anything to go by, they seem really nice. So number one today was basically making us aware of our illness. So we kind of looked at the criteria for diagnosis, which I have already looked at in some depth, and I think I've spoken about that before, so I won't speak about that here. We have some guidance for the group. So I kind of spoke about this before, so it's kind of like the rules of the group. So like I said, there are homework assignments. So I think a lot of it is mapping our own moods and trying different coping skills that we learn. There's not so much of that this week because it's been more kind of introductory, but I'm okay with that, because like I'm doing my English Lit degree, and I actually quite enjoy that kind of thing, actually. I do. I know it's really nerdy, but I actually enjoy it. So, yeah, there's nothing particularly important here. It's just the confidentiality thing. We need to attend every session to get the most out of this, and I'm determined to do that because I'm someone who, in the past, when I've struggled, I've kind of completely broken down and given up. Not because, it's not laziness, you know, a lot of people think when you have mental illness it's laziness. Sorry about the light, I'm right in front of my window, so it's going to change constantly. But, yeah, it's not laziness, it's just that your self-worth is low and you feel like, oh no, I've mucked it up, I've ruined it, I look weird, I've panicked, I've freaked out, everyone's going to judge me, and then you spiral lower and lower and lower, and then you just think, what's the point, I'm not worth it, and it just gets really bad. But that's not happening this time, because I'm not going to let it happen. I'm just going to make myself do this, because I have to, because I can't live the rest of my life worrying that I'm gonna kill myself. Sorry, that's like totally dark, but you know, I can't live the rest of my life thinking, am I going to get low and kill myself? Because that's what I feel like. I feel like my brain tries to kill me sometimes, and I just can't live like that. I want to have like a happy life. I want to be able to cope and exist and have a family and a social life and just enjoy life and go out to the cinema and watch shows and things. I want to have a nice, normal life and achieve something. And I don't mean achieve something in terms of like grand ambitions, because yeah, I do have some grand ambitions, like, you know, I want to write for TV and make a change in terms of like social justice and all that kind of thing. But just small things like being a good, loving person, and I would love to be a mum one day. You know, I want to be on top of my life. I can't live the rest of my life feeling like I can't cope, like I'm just on shifting sands all the time and I never know what's going to happen. I can't live like that, there's too much anxiety. So we got given this this analogy, called the backpacking analogy, by an anonymous person who had completed the STEPS programme before. And they kind of described it as someone who is backpacking in the mountains. Apparently this is an American student, so there's a lot of like American analogies here. Talking about rock formations, streams, waterfalls, wild animals, and it sounds very American and lovely. Basically, part of the description here is that they were kind of going out on these backpacking things all their life, but they weren't using the tools in their backpack correctly. So no matter how hard they tried, it just wasn't working, and they couldn't work out why it was working for others and not for them. Like, I'm not sure what it says here, I'm not going to go through it, but like, they were using like their tent wrongly, and they were trying to sleep with their cooking utensils, not in that way. Yeah, so that is a good analogy. I think that's true. I think that we have the skills, we just don't know how to use them in certain ways, and it does feel like everyone around you got these special lessons in how to cope and how to be a successful human and how to function, and you just don't get it. I always feel like this perpetual child, which is so difficult, because in some ways I feel like such an adult. Like, in some ways I feel so like, you know how annoyed I get when people like talk down to me, or you know, when people don't treat me like an adult. It really irritates me, especially I think when you're a young woman, that's something which is especially, you know, really annoys you. But emotionally, sometimes I do feel like a child. Like, sometimes I feel like I can't cope and I can't like look after myself, and that's really scary. And I remember watching my friends kind of growing up and doing things, and I've got a friend who's going travelling tomorrow. She's going travelling to India on her own. She can't speak any of the languages, but she's going there to work and to travel, and it's amazing. And I just think, you know, my best friend went to France for a year, you know, and she did some work in France, and I kind of feel like, okay, how do these people all know how to do that? I kind of feel like I missed the tutorial on that one. So this is my belated tutorial, I hope. I've just moved the camera again because I realised that my face was starting to disappear, so we lost a big chunk of content there, friends. But never mind. Yeah, so I got a sheet where I have to mark my emotional intensity on a scale, which is going to be difficult because I don't notice it changing. I just notice when it's really huge. It's quite hard to kind of map it as it gets big, really, and it feels sudden, although in the group, the lady running the group said it's not as sudden as you think, and you will learn to kind of identify it. So I hope I can learn to identify that. I'm already doing some things like distraction techniques which stop me from, you know, some of the damaging behaviours like self-harming and that kind of thing, but I'm just excited more than anything about this group. I'm just really excited because I feel like it might actually help me. So yeah, this was just week 1, so it's not going to be like a hugely in-depth vlog. It's more of a me just saying I did it. I actually did it, and yeah, I want to document it, and I'm sure some weeks will be quite emotional because we'll be talking about more personal stuff, but this week it was just sort of, this is what to expect, kind of getting us used to it. We had little name tags on, like little name stickers, like in school, but that was the only thing that was like in school, so I didn't mind. And the people seem really nice, and I have a care coordinator who I can call if I'm struggling, which is amazing because like you really do need that, especially if you're doing some sort of therapy. But yeah, I'm just incredibly relieved that it all went okay. So I'm gonna go because I've got a deadline tomorrow for my English Lit, and I've got the world's, I hate this essay because the word count is so low, and I don't know how they expect us to cover everything we need to in this word count, especially when they're counting references, but English Lit students will relate. But yeah, I've got to go and sort that out because that's due tomorrow, so I need to finish that. So I love you loads. Yeah, this is just me saying that I did it. Expect one of these videos every single week, and some videos in the meantime. So a lot of the content on this channel will be to do with this process for the next 20 weeks because that's what I'm focusing on, so I can get my life on track. But I will be making other videos if I feel like it, and if I can with my workload, because I am heading into a difficult time with my courses at the moment because I've got my English Lit and my creative writing kind of, all my deadlines are coming up at the same time at the moment, and then I've got an exam. So I've got a lot to do, but I will try and make the time. But these are absolute definites, they will happen, and hopefully I'll fit some more in the meantime. So I love you loads. I will see you really soon. If you're a new viewer and you're watching because of this, then you may hit the subscribe button if you so wish, and we may go through this journey together. I don't think I've ever asked anyone to subscribe to this channel before. Like, I noticed the other day someone was like and subscribe. I don't think I ask anyone to do that. Maybe that's why I get so many dislikes on my videos. Maybe I need to be more shameless. Okay, I love you loads, and I will see you really soon. Yeah, love you. Bye!